Where is it?
We're live right now, buddy.
What's going on, everybody? Oh my gosh, Cowboys Nation, Mavs, and NBA fans. Welcome to where America's favorite teams plays. That's right. I know people hate that, especially Big Game, and I hope he comes in here so I can talk crap to him and delete all of his posts. That's always fun to do. But it's so good to have you back with me. As you can tell, my audio problems are fixed because I did an update. And apparently, you have to do updates on Macs as well. How about that? Who knew? I guess I did. Anyway, of course, I'm Jay Soggs, the Buff Nerd. Let's go. And I'm joined by the voice of the Antlers, Trey Collins. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm great. Had a great, week off.
There you go. You did. Trey feels like
I'm in full basketball mode now.
We're still doing this? Like, yeah, we're still doing this. Yo, shout out to you, Jonesy. Hey, glad you're here, man. We are definitely, let's go Mavs. We're definitely talking Mavs tonight. Yes, it's Cowboys cutting up, but guess what? We still doing this thing here with that. And as a matter of fact, let me see. I got to do something real quick. Let's get that out of there. Bow. Listen, we're still talking Cowboys, but we're talking Mavs. We're talking all the stuff that's going on in Dallas because apparently Dallas itself, as far as sports teams, have gone crazy and have just said, F it. We're going to just do what we do, and here we go. So make sure that you like, subscribe, smash that bell, bounce that bell, click that bell, and make sure that you like it, right? You like it, you love it. Share it with someone else. If you want to listen to this podcast afterwards, of course, you can listen to it on your favorite podcast platform, Anchor, Spotify, Amazon, Apple. We're everywhere. So make sure that you do that. Big Game Entertainment. We're everywhere. Big Game Entertainment. Loving it. So, yo, man, let's get into this thing right here. Obviously, the season is ended for Dallas. The Chiefs and the lowly Eagles have made it to the big game, right? The big event, as they call it. But there's still some things kind of going on right now that we have to discuss as Cowboys fans and saying, okay, where do we go from here, right? Dak extension, CeeDee Lamb, 5th-year option. And of course we have the lingering question of the running back situation, right? And do we keep Zeke? Do we not? Do we trade him or try to trade him, find a trade partner if we can? Or do we just, say, you know what, Zeke? Thanks. But you can go ahead and go on your way now. That's a big situation that we got to look at, especially with the Cowboys being over the cap for the 2023 season as it were right now. Would say so let's start here, right? Dak is now going into his 8th year. What do we need to do here with him? I mean, everyone is talking trade or at least say, hey, you need to cut back on this contract so we can try and get some people in here. But what are you saying as far as Dak's contract?
Well, let's stop with the trade nonsense because if we trade him, we're losing $40 million in dead cap space or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So that's not an option. We're stuck with Dak for a long. If you listen to Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, they love Dak Prescott. He's in that inner circle where if you're in that inner circle, you're Dallas Cowboy for life. You're never going to leave. Zeke's part of that as well, and that's the problem with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak's not getting traded. Let's just be straight up honest with ourselves. What they're going to do, this is what Jerry Jones always does. They didn't do it with Zeke this year, which I was kind of surprised by because of that inner circle. But what they're going to do is come June, they're going to extend Dak Prescott to free up cap space. It's going to be
Mm.
more signing bonus more than anything. And I think Dak, being the leader that he is, I think he's going to be like willing to do that because all the endorsement deals from DirecTV,
Sleep number bed, and
yeah,
all
that thing, all the he's making
Crow.
he's making more money off endorsements than he is his contract, believe that or not, as you will. So,
Wow. Yeah.
but Jerry Jones always extends. He always pushes the bottle or the can down the road more and more and more. So
Yeah.
Stephen Jones gonna have more debt whenever he dies. So that's exactly what they're going to do with Dak Prescott, and then they're probably going to trade another player or not sign Schultz, which is probably going to save you $10 million right there.
And that's fine.
That's fine with me because you have
Yeah.
Ferguson, you have all good tight ends.
Shafty, yeah.
Yeah. So Zeke's the kicker here. I think Zeke is bye-bye. I think they're going to find a trade partner. I think someone's going to take that contract on, expiring contract. I think that's 1 or 2 years left on that. I can't remember what he has left on that deal. I think it's 1 year left on that deal. So it's some lonely team will probably
4
take
years.
it. Yeah.
We take that cap hit for 4 years, but the guaranteed money is done.
Yeah.
We're done on the guaranteed money.
So yeah, I think Dak Prescott, I think that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to extend his contract in June, make him like 90% of it signing bonus, and they're going to save money that way. That's what Jerry Jones always does, and that's what the Cowboys have always done. But the problem with doing that and getting under the cap, we don't go out and spend anybody. Jerry used to go out and get the biggest free agents. Jerry doesn't do that anymore. Jerry wants to save money for whatever and that's where a lot of fans are getting irritated with Jerry Jones. Like he always talks about wanting to win a Super Bowl. He doesn't because he doesn't go out and spend money. He doesn't make trades. He lets Amari Cooper go for whatever reason that is. Because we all saw what the wide receiver market is. It was actually a bargain for what we got Amari Cooper for. Amari Cooper this Dallas Cowboy team this year more than you may know. So Jerry Jones, I mean, Will McClay, somebody's got to get in Jerry Jones said, let me run this team. You just sit back and run the business side. Let me run the team. It's going to have to happen. That's the only way Dallas Cowboys are going to move on with
let me ask this,
the Super Bowl.
Well, let me ask this question. You know, you mentioned Zeke, and we talked about Zeke, but Zeke has come out and said that he is considering a pay cut to stay.
Well, I hope he's willing to cut down to $3 million a year.
Wow, $3 million?
Yeah, you're going to have to pay Tony Pollard.
Okay, so and here's the thing with Tony Pollard, right? He's an unrestricted free agent after this year. If we get him on a franchise tag, which we definitely could do, that's $10 million. It's about 10, I think 10.1 million that we would sign him on a franchise tag. And then that would help us with Zeke to say, okay, I tell you what, Zeke, you want to restructure, fine, and then cut him, leave him, whatever you do, that, you know, trade him. That now will help with that cap relief, but at least you have Pollard to say, look, we need to work this out financially, because if we can't get Dak to accept less money this year or next, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough because you still have Tony Steele. That's a free agent who came on. Terrence Steele that came on as a free agent. That came on this year. He did get hurt, but you know the expectation is that when he comes back, he's going to be just as good, if not better. You know, you got Jordan Lewis, you got Brown, as far as your cornerbacks. So, I mean, there's some real considerations that we're going to have to make as far as free agents and what we do. Again, we talk about CeeDee Lamb and that fifth-year option. Do we go ahead and exercise that? Because that's a $17.9 million option at that point.
I think you have to with what the receiver market is right now. $17 million is still for what these wide receivers are getting paid right now. Yeah. So Jerry Jones is going to pick up that contract.
Yeah, he'll pick that up. But the thing is that, like we talked about, you know, we can talk about needs. And to me, that's one of the needs that Dallas has. Noah Brown and Gallup are not those guys. They are not twos. They are not those guys. To me, they don't. they don't pick up enough slack in order for CD to have that option to, like, you got to move him around. You got to put him in different spaces and places. Like, he's going to get doubled every time. So Noah Brown and Hilton, for what he was when he came in, was a little bit of a threat, but they're not enough of a threat for them to say, hey, we need to roll coverage or we need to start looking at these guys. It's like, look, we can single them up, no problem. Not an issue, right? So now you're bracketing CeeDee Lamb. You have a safety high and a corner that's following. Doesn't matter, right? What's going on the other side, because those guys aren't catching the ball or they're not getting separation on the number 2 or number 3 corner.
I'm with you on Noah Brown to an extent. Michael Gallup, I'm not there with you quite yet. He's coming off a torn ACL. And if you ask anyone who's torn their ACL, it takes about 2 years for them to really get healthy and back to what they were.
I get that.
Because the first year is like getting acclimated back to trusting your knee. You're still not fully 100% unless you're Adrian Peterson, for whatever the case may be. But you're still not trusting that for the cuts and everything like that. You're just afraid of going to get hurt again. Everyone that I've talked to said the second year is usually the better year coming back from the ACL tear. So I give Michael Gallup a little pass this year with that. I don't think he's fully trusting, mentally tough right there with the knee, which I probably wouldn't be either, playing at a high level and
I get that.
So I would give him a little pass and see what he does this up until the trade deadline this year, and see what he does. If he's that guy who we thought he was going to be, or if he's just going to be, after the ACL tear, he's never going to be the same again the way he was, then maybe you need to cut bait with him. But I still give him. But Noah Brown, he came up big, but he came up small late in the big that later part of the season when the games mattered, right? Like
when the games mattered.
Jacksonville Jaguars dropping that. You blame Dak Prescott, he went for the interception. That was a perfectly thrown ball for he just dropped it and went to the other guy's hand. Dak Prescott threw a great ball. I don't care what you say. He did.
He did. That one is not on them.
That was Noah Brown.
That was Noah Brown.
So here's the thing. Would you consider bringing back Cedric Wilson?
Oh gosh. Oh, I mean, considering what's here, I would at least give him a workout. But I mean, either that or you go into the draft, and I think you can definitely get the types of receivers that you want in the draft, and we'll be previewing some of those as the draft gets closer here in April. But yeah, I think you start looking in the draft and saying, hey, is there someone there in a free agent that can help with that room? I don't know if you bring back Hilton after this year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. So you got to pair somebody with CD. Again, to me, the jury's still out on Gallup. I hear what you're saying. Coming straight back from an ACL tear, that's tough. But if there's no progress, yeah, I'm looking. I'm not even going to wait till the trade deadline. I'm looking through, preseason. I want to see him playing preseason.
Cowboys starters don't play preseason.
Well, hey, he's not a starter. He's a 2. So put his ass out there. Put him out there, and let's see if he can play. If he can actually play, and how much does he trust in it? And if not, it's time to go. You need big time players, man. Dak ain't your guy. Dak is not the guy. I don't.
He's not the guy that can lead you, but he can win a Super Bowl, but he can't be the guy who wins you the Super Bowl. If that makes sense. He has to have the right. He has to have the talent around him, which I think the Cowboys are 1 or 2 players away from what it really is.
And that's what I said. You win with him, not because of him. Okay. He'll get the ball down the field. I believe that. He'll get the ball to the players as much as he can. But if he's too aggressive, as Mike McCarthy has stated that, Kellen Moore was, that he was too aggressive. And that was why he had 15 interceptions this year, the highest he's ever had. And why McCarthy said, hey, you got to go. And Kellen said, yeah, you're right. I do. So I think there's a big part of that offense that has to change. And it starts with the quarterback, moves to the receivers, and it's kind of funny because it moves from the outside in. And usually you would say it's the inside out, right? The offensive line, the running backs, and then out to receivers, especially with the West Coast offense. But we'll see how that works. Right. Brian Schottenheimer elevated to the OC.
Let's be honest with you. That's just a name change. He ain't gonna do nothing for this offense. This is Mike McCarthy's offense now. He's calling the plays. He's making the schemes. Schottenheimer still do the same thing that he did last year for the Dallas. That's exactly what it's going to be. He ain't gonna be the offensive coordinator.
Do you believe with McCarthy now calling the plays and Schottenheimer the offensive coordinator, they progress or regress?
Well, we're gonna find out, aren't we?
What's your early predictions?
I think they're going to progress. I mean, if you look at Mike McCarthy when he was calling plays at Green Bay, they're in the number one offense in the league. Aaron Rodgers, I know it's Aaron Rodgers, but he wasn't throwing interception. They're moving the ball down the field. They made great plays. They did everything. But the one thing is, he doesn't run the ball. He doesn't run the ball. It's a pass happy league in that West Coast offense, and I think that's why you're going to say bye bye to Zeke because. With the Tony Peller fits that scheme just perfectly. Then you have Turpin. If we bring him back for next year, Turpin would also be a good fit for that as well. And then if the draft board's true and somehow Dallas gets Bijan Robinson out of Texas, he fits that West Coast. He can catch the ball in the backfield. You can put him down deep. He can pass block. He can do so. That's why I'm highly encouraged that maybe Dallas does get Bijan Robinson. I don't know, but I hope they do because we don't need offensive line. We don't need defensive line. We don't need any of that in the first round. We need a playmaker to help CeeDee Lamb in this offense progress to where they need to be. But I mean, hey, they won a Super Bowl with him calling plays. And I've been saying, and I thought about, I didn't say this out loud, but last year I was thinking, you know what, Dallas actually has two head coaches, right? Like, why do we need Kellen Moore? And we don't, because Mike McCarthy can just worry about the offense and Dan Quinn can worry about the defense. They don't need, I mean, they have two head coaches right there. And Dan Quinn coming back, I think Mike McCarthy sees it right in the wall. Jerry Jones wants Dan Quinn as his head coach, and that's why Kellen Moore's gone. And that's why he's like, I'm going to be calling the plays now because if I'm going to go, I'm going to go on my own terms.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going to happen. So, but I think honestly, I know it's early. I know we're still not at the Super Bowl yet, but I honestly I think it's going to work. I do. I truly believe it's going to work.
I would agree with you from what I've been reading in the reports, in that Schottenheimer will run and will teach and implement McCarthy's offense more than Kellen Moore would. Whereas Kellen Moore was trying to make a name for himself and say, "Hey, I'm going to show you what I can do." And you know, again, there's been tweets, there've been reports, there have been you know, things out there that's just basically been saying that McCarthy was butting heads with Kellen Moore the whole time, saying, "Hey, this is what we need to run." And Moore's like, "Nah, I'm the OC. We're going to run it the way I want to. So if you want to call the plays, you got to get rid of me." And they did. So we're going to see, and I agree. If you're going to go down the way you want to. Go down the blaze of glory. And Dan Quinn is looking at the whole situation across the league and said, this is the best situation for me. I've got a defense that no one's going to mess with me about my defense. No one's going to tell me what to do about my defense. I can play my players how I want to. And I think that's big for him, right? And for anyone. And if he's the head coach next year, he can still do that, right? And he'll just find the offensive guru or whatever and run it that way. And can blame them for the offensive woes that may or may not come because of certain players. But here's the question I have for you, Stray, is looking in this draft, first round, where do you think we should go? Just the first round. We have the 26th pick overall. And I know you mentioned Robinson. Don't know if he'll be there at 26, but he might. But what's the what are you seeing? I know there's some names that have been shot out there in some positions, but what are you looking at as far as a need for these Cowboys in the first round, number 26 overall?
If Bijan Robinson isn't there, you got to look at wide receiver. Because let's just face it, Tolbert was a bust for a second round pick last year.
Oh,
He was a bust. But I'm allowing Jerry Jones and them because they've actually hit it out of the ballpark more times than not lately in these drafts, ever since the Johnny Snell draft when Stephen Jones took the card away from them. And so they actually hit really well. We don't need a offensive line, defensive line in the first round. We don't need that right now. We really, really don't. Because we got Sam Williams last year, who's going to be a beast. I think he's going to improve next year. Offensive line, we all saw with Tyler Smith. I mean, by God, I told y'all he was going to be a stud and to make it just and stuff like that. So,
all right. You said it.
Or cornerback. We need a cornerback. If Anthony Brown, Lewis, whatever, because we all know ever since Joseph was investigated by the police for the
man,
he's horrible.
He's been bad.
Bland came on strong. See if land another chance. But honestly, I think it's a playmaker. You need to go running back, Bijan Robinson, or you need to go wide receiver. You need some help. And I don't know if he's going to be there or not, but Ohio State's Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know if he's coming out or not. I can't remember. I forgot if he's a junior or senior this year. I forgot.
I don't know if he's coming out. I have to check.
I would have said that other guy cannot pronounce his name from Ohio State who didn't play OBG, whatever his freaking name is. But he's kind of digressed a little bit through his workouts and stuff. But just go find the best wide receiver there is. And who knows, at 26, all your players who you thought I can see Jerry Jones trading in and moving back in the draft.
Yeah, it's possible. But, I mean, this is Jerry Jones. He loves making a splash, especially first round. I remember the year where he didn't have a first round pick and it just ate him up. And they would show him in the war room, just kind of sitting there sulking. And so I don't know about him trading back any longer or anymore. He may, but I don't think he's going to do that.
Well, that year they didn't have the first round pick. We got Amari Cooper, who was still young and basically was a first round pick. So basically we were fine with that. And then we go on.
He still sulked. He was still sulking, but I mean, he got a first round pick for it. So, in Amari Cooper.
And then we got a fifth round for it.
I know it's hurtful. I'm thinking cornerback or DB. I agree with the fact that we do need a receiver, we do need a running back, but I think the way the market is now for those positions and the way the college players are, you can find that. They're out there. And you're not looking for a 1. You're looking for a really good 2. So, and CeeDee Lamb is still really young. So it's not like he's aging out or anything like that. So I think the immediate need right now is for that cornerback DB, especially with all of the injuries that we had last year. And then also with just with the fact of the play of the cornerbacks and the DBs this past year, we got to get some help there, and we got to get some better players in that position. And I like DeRon Bland.
Safety?
Yeah, DB. I mean, I actually like the kid out of Oregon. What's his name? I just had it. I just wrote it down. Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
I really like that kid. 6'1". Yeah, he can't play in Pac-12, but 6'1", 205. He had 4 interceptions last year. So this guy's a ball hawk, and he can tackle. And that's what I like. He can tackle. Had 54 solo tackles, man, or 54 total tackles. The dude can tackle, and he's a ball hawk. Let's go. So, yeah, that's actually who I like. I know a lot of people like Joey Porter Jr. out of Penn State. Pretty good tackler. I mean, he's 6'2", 194 pounds, but again, he breaks up passes, but he's not catching them. Good tackler, but not the best. That's who I would go for. That would be a splash. That would be someone that's no one's really looking at right now, per se, but that's who I would look at. But that's the boys. Let's talk about these Mavericks. And Oh my gosh. I saw the news Sunday and it hit my my text messages. Breaking news. Mavs trade for Kyrie Irving. And I said, this must be a joke. So I went to ESPN.com and I just started going to Bleacher Report. Like I checked every source I could. And all across those sources, breaking news, Mavs make a trade for Kyrie. And then I see what the trade was. You get Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris. Bleh. You give up Spencer Dinwiddie. And who was the other kid? It wasn't Bertans because it needed to be. That's why I was upset. Oh, it was Finney Smith. And then you give up 3 draft picks, right? 29 first round pick. You give up, I think 27 as well. No, 27. And then 29 second round pick. So I'm like, okay, look. What are we doing here? Because though those picks are far off, this is still one of those things where you're like, it's Kyrie Irving. It's Kyrie Irving. I talked to my guy and said, hey, man, do you think this was a good trade? And he said, absolutely. And then I hung up. and he's my insider. He's my dude. I'm going to ask you, Trey. Trey, you're not a Mavs fan, but obviously this affects you in the West. And you're a basketball guy. How do you see this trade for the Mavs? And then how do you see it for the rest of the West?
Honestly, Mavs are probably my second favorite team. Let's just be like, I like Luka Doncic. I like Mark Cuban. I like the Dallas Mavericks. They haven't stirred me long. I like Dirk Nowitzki back in the day. I like the Dallas Mavericks. I'm a big Luka guy. I love Luka Doncic. I don't like how he chirps at the referees after every missed shot that he has, but whatever. He's Luka Doncic. He's a stud. He's probably going to be the face of the NBA for you. I mean, he's only like what, 23 years old, 24 years old. So he's going to be the face of the league for many, many years to come. He got some help with Kyrie Irving, but here's the thing: I don't like the trade. I don't like what they gave up for him. Yeah, I don't like what they're doing. You give up Spencer Dinwiddie, who, I mean, your defense is suffering. It's going to say, like, you're going to have to outscore. Kyrie Irving's no defensive stopper by any stretch of the imagination. He doesn't play. And then you don't even – his mental health, dude. Like, you don't know what he's going to do from time. Like, you don't know if he's going to show up to a game or not, or you don't know – like, you don't know anything. And then you give up 2 first-round picks for him and then a couple seconds, and you give up Spencer Din. I'm sorry. I would have not gave up Spencer Dinwiddie. I would.
That's the one that –
I've done it. Because he was a guy who can come off the bench, right? Or not off the bench, but the second quarter when Luka was sitting, that Spencer he would carry that.
Come off the bench, he could be your 6th man for sure.
He was balling out because without Luka Doncic against the Warriors, they were right in that game because of Spencer Dinwiddie. For some reason, they don't want to get rid of Tim Hardaway. I don't understand it. I
don't get it.
I don't get that whatsoever. But honestly, I used to love Kyrie when he was at Duke. I'm a Duke guy. I liked him, but since he became in the NBA, you can't count on him, dude. He's out there. Like, he thinks the world's flat. He thinks
dinosaurs aren't real.
They're fake. I don't understand. And he does a lot of good things. He does a lot of good things. He does good things for the African American community. He brings awareness to everything that's going on, brutality and all that. I get where he's coming from, but you just can't. He'll check out. He won't. He won't even show up to a game. Oh, we haven't heard from Kyrie in 3 days. Oh my God! You know what I mean?
It's that part for me.
Yeah, but. Real quick, and I will come to Kyrie Irving's defense on this a little bit. I might get some backlash for it, but the whole not getting a shot thing, I'm sorry, but I kind of agree with Kyrie. it's your body, it's your choice, right? Like if you don't want to get a shot, don't get it. I mean, it's your personal, like it's your personal.
Did he give you a voice? Is that what it was? He was giving voice to you. You were the voiceless, and you
No,
weren't able to say that to people. Because that's why he said he was saying that, and why he
yeah,
was standing up, because he was giving the voice to the
yeah. I
voiceless.
feel
But
like he
even
got
though,
the wrong deal because there's a lot of NBA players who did not get the shot, and they didn't get ridiculed like Kyrie Irving did. Let's just be straight up honest. But I
ah,
honestly, I wanted the Mavericks to sign him, but I wouldn't have gave up what they gave up. I feel like Mark Cuban melted at the last potential second because he was on record saying that he wants to get Luka Doncic's help. He got him help, but did it make him better? No, I don't think so. But
so what got me about this trade too was someone that we're forgetting, and I think it's mainly because of his minutes as well as being hurt right now, and that's Christian Wood. And in saying, okay, so you have Luka, Kyrie, and Christian Wood, and if you have those three on paper, you have yourself a pretty good team that you can build around. And you have two others, right? That are so you have Kyrie and Luka, and that's your guard and your forward, and Christian Wood can play your fourth spot, or some semblance of that. But when you start looking at this from, like you said, Finley Jr. and Bullock and Kleber and Powell, and it's like, what else do you have? Who else can you put out there that can really contend in the West past those three guys? Like, who's your six? Who's your seven? Who's your eight? Like that bench when it comes to the playoffs gets real short, right? So really, it's 1 through 7, maybe 8, maybe, but it's really 1 through 7. Who's the 1 through 7 guys? Because Bullock is streaky. My guy's like, oh, check him out towards the end of his career. I mean, end of the season though. He starts to come on and say, no, he showed up for Phoenix. I'll give you that last year. He showed up for it. But after that, he was nowhere to be found.
yeah, he was nowhere in that Warrior series. I think he missed like
Nowhere.
20 straight threes or
Nowhere.
something like that. He was nowhere to be found in that Warrior series.
You know who was there? Jalen Brunson was there.
Yeah,
Brunson
but
was
you
there.
gotta let that go, dude. Jalen Brunson was never coming back. He wanted to go play with his dad, and
I totally get that.
I do too. I
But
don't blame
but
him.
but Dallas didn't make it any better by saying, "Oh, he ain't worth that though. He's not worth 110. He's not worth 108. He's not
Yeah,
worth what he's asking." Because I
yeah,
think that's what the thing was, right?
and
Was that
he's proven that he is this year. I mean, he was an All-Star snub this year. I think he should have been an All-Star.
yeah, he's an all-star. So he and that's the other part of it is that Luka doesn't need to bring the ball up
I think that's
in order for them to be successful. And Jalen was good with that. Like he can bring the ball up. So you had Dinwiddie, who now was bringing the ball up. He's gone. So now you got Kyrie, who's going to bring the ball up. But we all know what that means. If Kyrie has the ball, it usually sticks to his hand. And when Brooklyn was doing well, they had a guard that was bringing up the ball instead of Kyrie. Even when Harden was there, he was cool with Harden bringing the ball up. They had success. So if Luke is bringing up the ball, that's just a lot. And I'm going to be honest with you. If they don't start making progress here, seriously, within the next 2 to 3 years, I think you see the end of Luka in Dallas. I think it goes away. Especially if Kyrie does not sign after the season, at the end of the season.
That's another thing why I didn't like the trade because it's not they have not extended his contract. There's no talk and let's just be honest with Kyrie wants to be an LA Laker. He wants to go to LA. He does. That's what I'm like. So if you win a championship this year, Dallas, which is hard, I still don't think y'all are a favorite
I'm
in
not
the
seeing
West.
it.
I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't because and plus, who said Kyrie has not been healthy for the playoffs either? He gets
No.
hurt. Like
Yes.
the one good year that he helped LeBron James win that NBA title in 2016 with a shot over Curry, because LeBron couldn't make a shot in the fourth quarter. No one can make it. Finally, Kyrie does with about 48 seconds left to give him a 3-point lead and no looking back. That was the only good playoff series Kyrie Irving had in the playoff.
Right.
Other than that, he gets hurt. So that's another iffy point right there. And plus, he's getting older as well. For two. Second, he can't play for defense. So
No.
I don't know. Like you're gonna have to outscore people 150 to 148. I guess I don't know.
I mean, as it stands right now, you got Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings, Clippers, Suns, Mavericks sitting at 6. Now the Warriors is 7, but I never count the Warriors out. I never do. Especially when it's time to turn it on towards the end of the season. They're not going to be in that play-in game with the Pels. I just ain't seeing that. So, you have that situation right there where this move with the Mavs sitting at 6, can they beat the Suns? I think they can.
Yeah, Suns are done.
I think they can. The Clippers, I don't think they're for real. I don't care what anyone says. The Kings, I don't know how long they stay there, but they're trying to show that they're legit. I do believe in Memphis. I don't know about Denver.
I do not do that. I don't believe in Memphis.
I think Memphis is good enough to be there. At 2, will they stay? No, because after Ja Morant, who you got? After Ja Morant, who you got?
What's that guy from Canada? I forgot.
The guy from Canada.
Yeah, he's good. What is his freaking name?
The guy. Hey, make sure you comment in there in the comments. The guy from Canada.
Damn it, what is his freaking name?
Dude, that just shows you. Okay. But yeah, I think Memphis is good enough to be there in the playoffs again. But the Denver Nuggets,
Desmond Bane. That's who I'm thinking of.
That's who you putting
from
hopes
Maryland. Came from Loyola, Maryland. Yeah.
in? Ja Morant and Desmond Bane.
Desmond Bane, dude's a stud. Don't sleep on him.
Is Desmond Bane and Ja Morant good enough to stay at 2 in the West?
No, I'm not saying I don't believe in Memphis. I do not believe in Memphis. I think they're just all talk, especially with Dylan Brooks being the bully that he freaking is. All he does is talk and chirp. And dude, they haven't won anything. Like they keep going back and forth with the Warriors, but the Warriors keep beating you, dude. Shut up. Like
I mean, as my guy says, everyone needs a goon. Goons are okay. Every team needs a goon.
Yeah, but a goon has to do something. Like he won't show up in the play. Like he won't show up in big moments. He goes 0 for 3, then he gets kicked out of games, and then he doesn't all he does is run. When things aren't going right, he runs his mouth, and he gets in a fight with Shannon Sharp. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, see, a goon is like Draymond Green. Draymond Green, yeah, he talks a lot of crap, right? But you know what? He fits that Warrior. Without him, that Warrior team wouldn't be what it is because he does all the bully work.
That's true.
Dylan Brooks don't do any of that crap. And I loved him coming out of Oregon. I love Dylan Brooks. But man, all he does is talk crap and everything. I'm sorry. I just don't believe. All he do is chirp and talk, and I just don't believe in him. Jackson's a good defender too. If he can stay out of foul trouble, Jackson is a pretty good damn defender. But I just don't, until you prove it, I just don't see him happening. I just don't see it.
I mean, Memphis has been there though. Since Ja has gotten there, it's been exciting to watch them, and they've been in the playoffs.
They've been in the playoffs, but they haven't gone past. They haven't gone to the Western Conference Finals, and I don't see it happening.
No, they haven't. And I'm not going to discount the Warriors as I tried to last year. They're just.
It seems like to me, the Warriors right now, they're not the same team as they were a couple years ago or last year when they won the championship, but. When Steph's going to be out a couple of weeks, but I think it's a blessing in disguise because he's the All-Star break. He can rest his legs, get back to his shooting. We all saw what Klay Thompson did the other night. He looks like vintage Klay all over again hitting.
He does. I discounted Klay. I thought he was done.
He's back.
Oh, come on. Look in the playoff when he came back, he did not look like
I'm
a
not saying that
basketball player.
I'm saying this year. This year he's
This
back.
year,
He
yes.
looks a lot better. He looks
Because and that's why people discounted him because he did not look like a basketball player. He looked like a dude that used to play basketball that was really good, but now he's in a rec team.
Well, and that goes back to the Michael Gallup situation. Torn ACL, torn Achilles. It takes a year to get back. And he finally got healthy. I'm just saying. It takes a year. Now you're starting to see Klay Thompson get back. Draymond Green's always a bottle rocket. You don't know what you're going to get. Andre Iguodala is basically a coach on the sidelines right now. He's just a defender.
He's taking a spot. He's Udonis Haslem.
But that other but Looney, people always sleep on Looney for whatever reason. He's undersized for a center, but my God, he gets a lot. He gets some rebounds. He does the dirty work. He does the screen. He's.
I mean, he's Green 2.0.
Without the trash talking.
Without the trash talk, yeah.
He's
Green 2.0.
Yeah. But I'm not sleeping on. And I honestly, I just think the Warriors are just trying to find themselves. But I think after the All-Star break, they're going to start hitting the pedals. You're starting to see a little bit right now after they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 140 to 114 the other night. You're starting without Steph Curry, mind you. I think they're just trying to find it because they're not stupid, right? They see the standings. They see like everyone like from third all the way down to 10th has 24 losses. Like they're like, okay, we go on a win streak, we can get that third seed like we did last year.
Easily. Easily.
But
easily. But I like Poole. I like Kuminga. I like
Kuminga.
Yeah, I like Kuminga. I like Poole.
He's only 20 years old, dude.
Kuminga. I know, and he's very young. He's aggressive. When he figures it out, he's going to be even better. But yeah, I like Wiggins on that team.
Wiggins has not been what he was last year, but he's starting because he had the illness and everything. But Wiggins is starting. He's starting. The last game, he looked like the old Andrew Wiggins. If they can get that, then the Warriors are going to be hard to beat 4 games.
That's the point that I've tried to make to people is that as much as I hate the Warriors and hate what they are, it's one thing that they just reload for their team. Like these are guys that don't fit on other teams, but on their team they fit and they work. It's you know what? The Warriors are like the Patriots of the NBA. Like that's what they are.
Great.
It's like, that guy doesn't fit there. Put him on the Patriots, they'll win. All of a sudden, he's an all-star. All of a sudden, this guy's first team. All of a sudden, he's this and he's that. Any other place, where he was, but on the Warriors, like the Patriots, it works. And now you're in the championship.
And real quick on the Warriors, look for tonight, late tonight or tomorrow, what they're going to do with Wiseman. Because like you're just saying, it fits what Wiseman really doesn't fit what the Warriors want to do. Wiseman's a hell of a player. Wiseman's young. He's a freak of nature. He has handles. He can shoot the ball from mid-range. He can rebound. He can give you length. He can give you size. Other teams need that.
I like his defense. I wish he'd come to Dallas. We would love to have him in Dallas.
Okay, we'll trade you Luka for him.
No. You can come get this Hardaway Jr. and Bertans like we're supposed to trade to the Nets.
The funny thing is, if Tim Hardaway Jr. does go to the Warriors, watch him start shooting three. Like it'll be great because Steph Curry's like shoot with confidence, I don't care, just shoot with confidence. That's the same thing what Jordan Poole's doing right now. He took what Steph Curry just shoot with confidence, and you see a lot of good.
He would, and that's the sucky part. He would go to Golden State and be like, he'd be good. He'd be really good. Here he's average and we hate him.
Mark Cuban doesn't. Mark Cuban loves him for some reason. He's still on your team.
Yeah, I think it's more of the name than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think it's the name. If he was, Tim Jackson or Tim Smith, it wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't even matter. Tim Smith Jr., it wouldn't even matter. But because it's Tim Hardaway Jr., then there you go. So I think it's just the name itself. Again, when you look down that the whole bench, it's pretty miserable. It's pretty miserable. So Christian Wood has to get healthy. Luka has to stay healthy. Averaging like 33 points a game this season. He's going to get burnt out. He needs the help. He got the help with Kyrie, but how much is Kyrie going to play?
If the Mavericks finish in the top 3 in the Western Conference, is Luka your MVP?
Luka's my MVP anyway. I just can't see why he's not the MVP. And that's not just me being a homer, but
I agree with you.
From what he's done, and MVP is about a story. And so his story this season, I just don't see how he's not the MVP. I just don't see it.
I think he should have got it last year over Jokic. That's just me.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. I think Jokic shouldn't have got it. I mean, he had a great season, but what Luka did, he basically had no one. He basically coach. Brunson was helping a little bit, but carrying the whole team on your back, and we saw what he did in the playoffs and see what he's doing this year with the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, they're the best. With Luka on the court, Dallas is the best team in the conference.
Absolutely.
When he goes in the bench, they're the worst team in the conference.
The worst team. And that's why I question why Jokic would even be in the running. And here's the problem. Because the Nuggets are first in the conference right now, he's in that conversation and will more than likely be a final in the top 2 of votes for MVP because Denver is first. But again, to your point, if you don't have Luka, that squad it's nowhere near there. It's nowhere near. They're not getting into the playoffs. Period. Point blank. That's in the story. And what he's doing to the rest of the league has to count for something. It has to count for something. So,
and I don't think your Dallas Mavericks are done making moves. I mean, they're still looking to make a. Don't be shocked if DeAndre Ayton's on the Mavericks.
I'm done with that. I'm so done with that. I'm so done with DeAndre Ayton.
He's overrated. He
is overrated. We exposed him, and there it is. We don't need him. Like, think about this. Who did we have at center last year?
The white guy. What was his name? What was his name? Well, you had Bullock, who did a lot of good defensive rebounding, and
I guess. Yeah, Boban.
Oh,
yeah, Boban. Boban and Powell was playing some center.
Powell's I forgot about Powell. Powell is.
Yeah, we have Powell, but he shot from the outside. He's not a true center.
There is no true centers anymore. Let's just be straight up.
Ayton is probably the closest. Well, I take that back. From Philly, the process. Embiid.
No,
he's probably about your closest.
Embiid shoots from
he does. He shoots threes, but at least he rebounds and blocks. Powell is not going to do that.
Paul won't do the hard.
No, Powell won't do that. Cleveland won't do it. Boban would at least do it because once he got down there,
Boban will give you good like when you need an engine to start. That's really cool. Like he was good for like stretches of 2 or 3 minutes especially at home.
I was about to say, give him like 5-7 minutes a game. Hey, you are doing the thing with Boban, but. I'm looking at these standings, and it's
if one team can just go on a run, dude, I'm telling you. But no one in the Western Conference can win on the road.
Yeah, no one does. But I think Warriors they'll bump up to at least. I think they'll take the Kings spot. Maybe even the Grizzlies overtake the Grizzlies.
I don't think they'll catch the Grizzlies, but I do think they'll get the third. Warriors can make the third spot if they start playing the ball like everyone knows. Mavericks can with Kyrie. I can see the Mavericks kicking the third or fourth spot as well.
I see them at 4. I see the Mavericks at 4, and they'll overtake the Clippers. I think they'll overtake the Suns. I think the Warriors will take. I think they can make a hard push for the 2 spot with the Grizzlies. I think they can. But I definitely see them at 3 overtaking the Kings, and the Kings dropping down probably to 7 or 8.
Well, we're gonna find out after the All-Star because that's usually when
Yeah.
the good teams start to merge, and it's like, all right, this is
Oh,
gonna be a
yeah.
real season because they see the finish. Because the NBA is a long season from October all the
It
way
is.
to in April, dude. That's a full
Oh,
school
yeah.
year. So
Yeah. It's 9.5 months. Yeah. No. No, yeah. I agree with you. And that's why I always say I wait until All-Star break to really start saying, okay, here's where these teams are and here's where players are and things of that nature, because now you're in a groove and you have your bumps and bruises and all those things that come with it. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Man, look, it's been great. We're gonna cut this thing off, man. I'm ready.
because you want to go watch Kyrie,
Yeah, I want to watch Kyrie.
Kyrie and the Clippers.
You're absolutely correct. The game is about to start. Let's go, Mavs. Mavs for life. Right? I'm a Mavericks fan. Mavericks fan for life. Let's go. MFFL. Make sure that you like, subscribe, smash that bell. Thank y'all for coming in, watching us. It's been fun per the usual. We're gonna have more Cowboys, Mavericks, and NBA stuff going on. I know Trey isn't into hockey. I'll talk hockey. Not Stars though, because I hate them. But
I don't get into hockey till playoff, dude. I can't follow 282 games like hockey and NBA. I cannot follow like oh.
Come on, man. It's the good stuff.
Playoffs, dude, I will say this: hockey playoffs are by far one of the favorite things.
Yeah, they're
Really
really great, and I love the Winter Classic. I usually do like those, even though I'm tired of seeing Philly playing them, or the Bruins. The Boston always playing them. Kind of tired of seeing that. So like to see somebody else playing in it. See those jerseys. But anywho, I was glad you came. Make sure that you listen. Make sure that you like, smash. Hey, hit us up in the comments. We'd love to comment back with you. And as always, Cowboys up. Let's go.